and also thought-provoking in so many ways. It's filled with a lot of hope, but it's also filled with great regrets of what should have been a momentous occasion for the people of this planet to finally have confirmation we're not alone in this universe or time. But that was cruelly snatched away from us all by a few self-appointed and self-serving agenda-based people, in some cases human and in others not. All content on not only controlling the narrative but engineering money-based schemes and corporations based on technology garnered from these craft. Technology of which was not made available to the public at large. Despite the public paying for all these operations, agencies, NGOs and research facilities, not to mention the plethora of military installations both above ground and largely below ground. You're talking about trillions of dollars on black budget to pay for these installations, to serve the few, serve the ones who will only follow orders, no matter what it is. People who follow orders don't think straight. In fact, in many cases, they're told to not think at all. Follow the plan, no matter what those costs or implications. We the people are not seen in our best light or use when just following orders. We are all a free spirit, and to that is what we must strive to re-establish for us all. The psychological damage done to millions of people around the world due to the point-blank denial of this knowledge and the subsequent ridicule and often banishment of those people has and does still haunt many people to this day. People who saw and experienced things with their own eyes, only to be declared insane, will both anger and exonerate at the same time with this revealing. This led to our national safety being compromised, not only in this country, but all countries, as these same clowns did all kinds of deals for technology with these on and off-world groups, all under the banner of beating the Soviets. The most childish excuse ever. The point being is, Russia has long since had that technology from the ancient past themselves. So it's delusional to think you are competing or getting one over the Russians. And it's child-level thinking and actions, and why so many of the EBE groups think we are a child-level civilization. This event could have sent us on a much better path for humanity, as part 2 will reveal in greater detail. Instead, it sent us spiralling backwards in terms of development, so the few self-serving people can use it for their own sick and twisted agendas. One of the deals this group did, MJ12, along with President Eisenhower, was an agreement for the use and aid with new technology from the ETs and in return Eisenhower agreed for 2% of the American public to be abducted for genetic and other experimentation, all done by these off-world entities. Perhaps Eisenhower should have donated some of his own family for the abduction program, and perhaps then we would not have to listen to the sanctimonious claptrap of his great-granddaughter Laura Eisenhower all over the alt media circuit. I've yet to hear her give an apology on behalf of her family to we the people. It's also shameful and extraordinarily arrogant behaviour of a select few on this planet with a designed and deliberate pursuit of becoming a breakaway civilization. It was and is largely at the heart of this matter, and led no doubt to the creation of the also malevolent group known in the alt media circles by two different names, the SSP, SS being the operative letters, or the Alliance, which is actually Alliance, with a Z on the end, not CE. Black Sun. Vast underground cities laced with high-end tech, whilst the surface population has to endure outdated bacteria poop called oil. That is at least 110 years out of date, all of it paid for by the public, including the cost of maintaining it. And yet again, one particular organisation in this country and others is central to it all. Like it was revealed in From Russia with Love 7 and several other pieces in my shows, the CIA seems like the central hub for all things that are wrong on this planet. Their now legendary complete disregard to life and humans is for all to see, and not only a blight in this country but around the world. And if we are truly to progress as a species, that particular organisation and its components needs to be dismantled. Central was the right terminology for them, and a heads up for critical thinkers, because wherever there is something bad going on and in this world, that group is the central figure to it all. So much else has been denied to the general public in terms of advancements for humans by these control freaks, in particular in terms of medical advancements. I have witnessed with my own eyes a member of Langley who had his hand blown off completely, and they stitched a new, fully functional hand complete with real skin decades ago. And yet deny soldiers returning from combat the same treatment and restoration of limbs available to them. The same Langley group who caused the combat to begin with in 90% plus of cases, I might add. That is just so wrong on so many levels, and I'm hoping by the full revealing of these shows it brings more light and clarity to and on this subject. Only this time they can't deny it. Why? As this is from the official archives of Ultra Top Secret Clearance, which was known as majestic clearance. Oops. I know many of the EBEs have contacted many of us around the world and revealed full disclosure in its raw form. And yet, predictably, the doubting humans wait for somebody else to tell them what they've already seen or experienced, and yet are so ready to believe something not seen or experienced because society told them so. The greatest loss in terms of our species is spiritual development and advancement. They could have taught us so much more in terms of life, living, pursuit of happiness, wondrous experiences of travel both in and out of body. All cruelly snatched away from so many. And for what? For the weak, cowardly and obsessional people to control others. From that perspective, we are no different than the Draco or the Abraxans. A select few wanting control, status and power that is not congruent with the rest of their species. The loss of knowledge, not only gained from EBEs, is the greatest damage, but the loss of our own knowledge passed down from generation to generation is all but lost now as well, due to this same group of humans and off-world entities. So if the EBEs think we're not a fully developed space-based civilization, there is your answer as to why. But it also has to be noted and determined that many of these EBEs presented themselves as our god or gods and created the program called religion. That is an undeniable 100% fact, as you will find out in part 2. And that program alone has done so much to stifle our development here. You have no idea. If anything can be gained from today's show in particular is to those who have had experiences and sightings as a full confirmation. And perhaps, I hope, a new belief in and of yourself. Final message to the EBEs is, and I know you're listening, we are not all like the jackass military, agents or government types. Those three groups represent just about the worst aspect of our species and in essence are a replica of some of the other malevolent off-world species. And like the book says, in our likeness and our image. And those three groups are the antithesis of what it means to be human. I'm aware many of the EBEs have met many of you listening to this show. Maybe you recognise that fact, or in most cases you never, as they passed you in the street. All done by the conditioning of your brain by control freaks to think that they don't exist and we are alone. A word of caution. not all interactions with them are positive, and at the same token, not all are bad either. I am greatly encouraged by the interactions between the 39 species below our feet, all largely now working together, and their celebrated Independence Day in September of last year. It is something we, as humans in a collective sense, have to work towards building. But perhaps now, more engagement with humans outside of those 3 circles is the way forward for those who are ready. As we build a network for and by the people of how to operate and be in the right way, just maybe the People's Club network will be that future voice of humanity that leads to honest, courteous and peaceable interactions with species from other worlds. And for those who do meet them, perhaps this song title is a fitting end to this first part of this show. This has been the Truth, Honour and Integrity Show. My name's Thomas Williams. Bye for now.